nothing but the dog in me. Why must I chase the cat?
Thanks for that. Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. Here we are. It's getting to be the end of June. I can't even stand that. We're like halfway through. We're more than halfway through the month, and we're just halfway through the year. It's crazy how time flies, and summer is pretty much upon us. We've had some cooler weather, thankfully. But we're back to being in the thick of things with the heat. And if you remember, a bunch of weeks ago, I mentioned that there'd been a coyote out in my yard bright and early in the morning. And it's interesting because since then, I've seen a whole lot of stuff about wildlife sightings. And I don't mean like deer and Bambi and stuff like that. There's this social media kind of group thing that goes by neighborhoods, and I've joined the one in my neighborhood just to be nosy, because sometimes, even though I have no use for being involved with the people in my neighborhood, honestly, I'm not a people person. We know this. I'm not trying to be like anybody's best friend, but it's good to know, and it's proved to be serve the purpose that I meant for it to. If there's break-ins, if things are going on. And I did post the coyote, and since then people have posted asking about fisher cats because they think they're around in the neighborhood, and those things are miserable. There's been foxes. There's a side street across from my house, and it goes down and around. There was a bear a couple weeks ago there, but something that you wouldn't expect happened this weekend, or this week rather, with a bear sighting. And let's get the pictures of the visitor at the Waterbury Mall, Zach. This guy was seen running through the nearby park and behind the mall. I think they said it was by the Sears Service Center. Kind of back there, there's running water and everything, and he just decided, I guess some construction workers had seen him, and if you don't want a bear anywhere, it would be where there's like a lot of people like that, and I don't doubt that with all the construction and everything around there, any place these animals had to be and to hide and to live, they've cut down so many trees. And, they're expanding the highway, and they're making a mess. This poor guy, I don't know, maybe just passing through, maybe kind of got kicked out of his natural area. But it's kind of a shocking thing to have a bear at a mall. I don't know, maybe he was looking for the food court. Who knows? Something he had a little spending money, and, the picnic basket wasn't cutting it or something like that. I don't know. But they tranked him and they moved him, which is a pretty standard procedure to do that. Years ago, there was one in my neighborhood. They tranked him in the house diagonally across the street from me, in the backyard. And I happened to be home at lunch while all this was going on, and I won't say that I didn't go and raise some ruckus. You're not going to hurt that bear. And I'm freaking out, and, they're all looking at me like, lady, you're nuts, and I really didn't care. Running down the street back then in my high heels. Yeah, I was crazy, but, I'm still crazy. I was crazy at that moment, let's put it that way. I was full on crazy. But, yeah, they're around, folks, and, it's kind of that time of year. They have nowhere to go. I'll take the camera back. Although, I don't know, he might be better to look at than me. I don't know. I'm good with that. Huh? Yeah, we both were in black. There you go. But anyway, it's that time of year, and wild animals are out more, obviously, because of the weather, and so are people. So paths are going to cross, and, you got to understand, they have every right to live around the same places that you do. Define nuisance. You can say that they're a nuisance, but if they're not bothering anybody, are they really a nuisance? You know what I'm saying? You just need to use common sense and use caution. Dusk and dawn are the big times where the predators are out looking for food. And, that's when I saw the coyote in my yard. It was bright and early. It was barely light out. It was, my eyes are barely open, taking the first dog out. And lo and behold, I am very aware every time I go out because there's the woods behind my house. I mean, it's a huge tract of woods. It's alongside the highway. There's a brook that runs through there. So it's got every component that an animal would need to survive back there. And who am I to bother them? I don't care. Be back there. You don't bother me. I won't bother you. And in most cases, that's entirely possible to live that way. The things that you really need to be aware of is that they can be anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's not just where the woods are. This bear showed up at the mall. Come on, let's be real. Like, that's not your normal animal territory, but he might have been just passing through. The things that you want to try to do are to safeguard yourself. Keep your garbage secure. Keep it, don't leave garbage around, especially not food garbage. If you've got lids on your garbage cans, keep the lids on your garbage cans. If you're getting close to your garbage day, that's when you might want to throw out all the stuff that might attract them. You can live with, stuff to throw out in your fridge. You can empty it the night before your garbage. You don't have to do it days before and let it be a factor, Things like barbecue grills, you really clean them. Because if there's food residue on your grills out there, it's an attractive thing for them. They smell it. Clean your grills, clean up all the mess, clean up all the food, clean up all the garbage if you're going to be outside cooking. Or you're kind of inviting them by leaving that stuff around and the scent. They're going to smell it anyway, but if you're not mindful, you're going to have more of a problem. This time of year, bird feeders really aren't necessary to sustain the birds. And I will tell you that bears like birdseed. You'll find, if your bird feeder is still out and it gets ripped down, you just might have a bear and, you just think the thing fell. No, they like birdseed, and, you're making it available to them, and it's an attractant. They're going to flock to it. So think about the things that you do that sort of ask for trouble, so to speak. Additionally, you don't want to let your animals loose. You don't want to leave them unattended, especially at that dusk and dawn time. A coyote, a fox, a cat is no match. So if you don't have to let your cats out, I don't know why you do. But if you don't have to let your cats out, don't let your cats out. I fear because the lady down the street seems to be collecting cats now, and I see them all over. They're going after the chipmunks, and something's going to go after one of them soon. But you can't teach people. Certain people you can't teach things to. I'm sure we'll have words, but it's a recipe for disaster. If you've got small dogs, you definitely don't want to leave them out in the yard, because you know what? A coyote can scale a fence like it's nothing, and your pet will be gone. The electric collar things, they're useless because your pet can't leave the yard, but anything else can get in. Scoop your animal up and run off. It's not going to worry about the shock from the electric fence. Your dog will get it, but the coyote won't, or the fox, or whatever. So, you really have to think about how you set yourself up and your pet up for disaster. It's really a thing. And I've said it before, And it's really, it's the best, all of this is the best advice I can give you. If you see a bear, or if you see a coyote, you don't panic. If you know they've been in your neighborhood, I was told by an animal control officer with bears, bright lights, have a flashlight, shine it at them. Loud noises, if you've got a whistle, carry a whistle. If you can clap your hands or stamp your feet, if you're going to go out at night, or if you're going to go out, try to make a little noise when you do, just so that they know you're coming. One of the things that an animal will perceive as a threat is a silent approach. So you want to make noise and kind of like signal that you're not a threat, if that makes any sense. So, carry a flashlight, carry a whistle, always carry your phone. Your first instinct shouldn't be to get a picture. Yeah, if you can safely do that, sure, it's great. But if you need to call for help, you can do it. You have your phone. So be smart, be careful, safeguard your pets. Remember that even a bigger dog, more than one coyote together, they, form their little packs. They'll take a big dog in no time at all. And I've even read about attacks on leash dogs as people are walking. So just be careful and be aware of your surroundings. They're brazen, these animals, but they're probably not looking for the confrontation, and people force it, and that's a big part of the problem. We can live together, we just have to do it smart. So there's my soapbox for the evening. Well, I may have more soapbox time, I don't know, we'll see how the show goes. But that remains to be seen. I'm going to give you an update on Coco. I talked about Coco last week. Anybody who's watched the show for any length of time knows about this poor dog who's just had the kind of life where she's had no luck. And fortunately, she did end up with people by means of 20 Paws Rescue who stood by her and have really had her best interests at heart. She was adopted by a wonderful, wonderful family who loves her very much. And she had a horrible accident about 10 days ago now, where she fell out a third-floor window, and she was a mess. And they were holding surgery off because she was bruised, and she had some bruising around her lungs. They weren't sure what would happen with her leg because she smashed it up pretty well. But they did have to amputate. And poor Coco did lose her back leg. And we've got some pictures of her recovering. And Zach, can we have Coco? There she is, buried in blankets and pillows when she first got home. She looks snug as a bug in a rug, as they say. And the next picture, there she is, little diva. Her front paw is still in a splint, her front leg. And that will be the case for a while. Like I said, it's her back leg. It's the one that is kind of like under that wrap there that they had to remove, the poor girl. But you can see she looks well, and she's certainly getting a whole lot of love. And she's Coco, and she's a fighter, and bless her heart, and bless her mom and dad, and everybody who loves her. There she is. Look at her. She's even smiling. I can't even stand it. She went for her first checkup at the vet, and she did really, really well. And, she's even smiling. She's such an amazing dog that I can't even stand it. But, what she went through had to have been just, emotionally shattering. And what are you asking me? Oh, nobody knows. John's asking me how come she went out the window. Nobody knows. She pushed the screen out and she went out the window. Nobody knows if it was something in the house that spooked her or something outside that was a factor. But this is a dog who never even looked out the window. She never even went near the window. So something happened. Something definite happened, and obviously life-changing. A dog doesn't know it's 3 stories up, but she literally pushed the screen out, and she went out the 3rd floor window and landed on the pavement. So she's very lucky to be alive. She's lucky she didn't fall on her head, because, you know, that would have been probably the end of her. But however she fell, and she messed up her front leg, and she shattered her back leg. There was no saving it. But, you know, again, kudos to the lady who happened to be there at the right moment when this happened at that moment, and got her right to the vet and took care of things. And kudos to, you know, her mom and dad, who have just gone above and beyond. I mean, Coco just has had such a rough life. She's a cancer survivor. She had surgery for that. She's been, you know, just like that hard luck dog, and it just seems to, even for all the love in the world, it seems to keep happening to her, and it's heartbreaking. I've been following Coco since 2011, and she's just the sweetest girl, and she deserves all the good things in life, and, you know, everybody's trying so hard to give them to her. But, you know, she is settling in, and she is adapting to, you know, her new state of being. And like I said, her first recheck went well. You can tune into the Posse Presents Facebook page for updates, or you can go to her page. Used to be Rescue Coco, but now it's Brad and Coco Helping Paws Together on Facebook. And all of her updates and all of, you know, the things that everybody's trying to do to help her out are there, and you can check them out on both pages. I will take the camera back for a hot second, and we're going to talk about some adoptable dogs. The first one is right here in Connecticut in the North Haven Animal Control. She's been there since November 14th. Zach, let's get Tia up. She's such a sweetie. She's so beautiful. That longer face and the brindle and the ears, the way she's laying there, she reminds me a little bit of my Bocce, but he had the longer hair, you know, because he was shepherd. But anyway, Tia was found living under a pool house. She was very timid and very fearful. She needed some work, and it was a little bit before, you know, they felt like she was ready to go home. She was adopted to a couple who had another dog, and unfortunately, very quickly, it didn't work out. So to safeguard her, she's back at the shelter, and they're saying that she needs to go out as an only dog. The people, while she was there for the few days that she was in the home, said she was very well behaved and very loving. But, you know, seeing as what happened with the dog, there was a tiff. It wasn't really serious. You know, it's always scary when dogs are reactive or get into it. And so they made the choice, you know, not to try to integrate the two anymore. Probably a good choice, because, you know, it cannot end well. It has the potential not to end well. So they're trying to put her out now as an only dog, which certainly limits her opportunities, unfortunately. Again, it doesn't make her a bad dog. They said she was absolutely wonderful when she was in the home. It was just the chemistry wasn't there, whether it was on her end or the other dog. It kind of doesn't matter. Who knows what'll ever happen in the future, but that's for the future. That's not a consideration for now. And so Tia obviously has been there for quite some time, and unfortunately that means that her time is probably starting to run out. Even though she went out and came back, that's probably what bought her the extra time, but she's got to be considered kind of a priority at this point. For somebody who is would have her as an only pet, and no cats, and probably just because of her size, older kids. If you are interested in Tia, you can call 203-239-5321, Once again, that's 239, because I can't read, 5321, extension 250. And that's my own handwriting, folks. Okay. Nancy's clapping for me. Yeah, I know. I deserve all the applause. The next dog up we're going to have is Alan. And isn't he beautiful? He is just absolutely stunning. He's sweet. He's handsome. He's friendly with people and dogs, which is a plus. He's very affectionate. Most likely he's house trained. You can scroll through. I think there's a few pictures, or a couple of pictures anyway. He's very likely house trained, because as soon as they take him out, he does his business, which, you know, is a good sign of a dog who knows what to do and what not to do. But seriously, look at that. Look at those eyes. Look at that face. He's just so handsome. He adores tennis balls. He loves to play. The bad part is the poor guy's starting to stress out at the shelter, and that happens. You know, he looks. You could kind of tell in this picture here. He looks a little skinny, and you know he's not gaining any weight. He's drooling a lot. He's constantly looking at his paws. He's just really, really stressed out. So he needs out, and he needs out like ASAP. He's been there, you know, for a bit, and you know his shelter buddy has nothing but good things to say about him. He needs to be in a home. Some dogs can hang in there. Other dogs can't. You know, it's noisy. It's stressful. You're in a kennel. It's not your couch. It's, you know, just it's an environment that's not good for any dog. But again, some dogs can deal with it better than others. He is one that's dealing with it less well. So again, adopting him out, getting him into a foster, getting him out of the kennel environment is a priority. And from what I'm told, whoever decides to adopt or foster him is not going to be sorry. He is amazing. He is, you know, just a mush, and he's a love. And, you know, again, everybody says wonderful things about him. He is at the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. The number there is 518-785-5220. Once again, 518-785-5220. Or you can email animalinfo@tohmail.org. animalinfo@tohmail.org. Alan, as of today, has his very own Facebook page, and it's Allen's, A-L-L-E-N, Allen's Angels Want to Find Him a Home. And, you know, I am one of the admins on this page, just like I'm one of the admins on Diesel's page. I can't say enough nice things about the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter volunteers. They're an amazing bunch. Anne Marie set up the page for us, and Lori is Alan's shelter buddy, and Robin is the co-sponsor. And you know, it's such a group effort, and it's really such a nice thing to see people doing so much. You know, everybody's assigned a dog, like I was assigned Diesel, and really, look how far away I am. And everybody works together. It's amazing. So, you know, a big shout out to all of the Tohas volunteers. Chrissy is Diesel's buddy, and I'd be lost without her on the ground there to give me, you know, all kinds of information and pictures and videos. And, you know, needless to say, it all started with when I had Murdoch here. Murdoch started out at Town of Hempstead and went to Last Hope. And John Esposito, who, you know, is one of my biggest heroes out there, who brought Murdoch here and drove him home. And, you know, we're still friends. And you know, he got me involved in this sponsoring the dogs. If everybody worked together as well as I see all these guys doing, it would just be so amazing. You know, everybody's got each other's backs. And, you know, the bottom line is the wellness of the animals and getting these dogs home, and it's just really awesome. Quickly, I know I'm running out of time. Zach, let's put up the picture of my mug. Look at that. I can't even stand it. Last week, I introduced the John Burke Project of Love Paw Print Mug Club, and I showed some amazing mugs, and I have to apologize for some misinformation because I didn't credit John's wife, Kathleen. She also makes the mugs with him, and she makes those ones that I showed with the little dog figurines coming out. She does those. So my apologies for the misinformation, and if you want to check her page out, I am scrambling through notes that are sticking together. It's Kathleen Burke Infinity Potters. That's Kathleen Burke, B-U-R-K-E, Infinity Potters. And this Peace, Love, and Dogs mug is just, I got it the other day, and it's like, obviously, it's beautiful, and it was one of the best parts of my week for sure. So thank you to John for getting that out to me so quickly. I will treasure it forever and ever and ever because that's just really too special. We certainly have our Peace, Love, and Dogs thing going on, and it's just amazing. And John and Kathleen just seem like such wonderful people, and I can't wait to have them on the show. I will take the camera back, and in closing, it's just about time for the birthday dog unveiling. And if all goes well, that'll be next week. Looking forward to getting my list of birthday dogs out there. And I really hope everybody will help me share them home because that's all I want for my birthday. We will talk about those dogs next week. I'm finalizing my picks. I'm hoping some of the ones that are on my radar will go home between now and next week even. And I'm hoping that with everybody's help, we can get them all home because, you know, my birthday dogs are dogs that I want to see in homes for my birthday. And that'll be soon. That's in less than a month, so I need your help. Anyway, I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Thank you very much, and have a good night.